Hi everyone, I am finally back with another video. I know it's been a while, thank you all for your patience, but now I am back and my microphone is finally fixed. It took longer than expected, but here we are now. Anyways, a lot of you have been telling me that you are overwhelmed and just not sure what to do in Genshin anymore. Or maybe that your resin is always capped, your characters are halfway leveled, and there's just so much to do now. Yet somehow it still gets boring when you log in to play. If that does sound like you, then this is the video for you. A quick disclaimer before we get into it, I know that some of these tips might sound like a lot, so just so you know, this video is made for people who need a little structure and guidance in order to help you feel less overwhelmed and more in control. Genshin shouldn't feel like a second job, so hopefully with these tips we can take some of the pressure off of you so you can actually enjoy the parts of Genshin that you love. If you have anything else to share or would like to add to some of these tips, please feel free to do so in the comments. I look forward to hearing what you have to say, but without further ado, let's get into it. But before we begin the video, I suggest you guys pick up a snack in the meantime. And lucky for you, I have just the snacks you need. So thank you to our sponsor tokyotreat and Sakuraco. Both tokyotreat and Sakuraco are Japanese snack subscription boxes to bring you Japanese food culture right to your own home, with each month being a brand new theme with new snacks to try. The tokyotreat box is a ton of fun as always, with a theme being Summer Matsuri Snack Fest, where all the snacks are inspired by the classic festival treats. Some of the featured snacks you might be interested in are the DIY candy apple, kakigori jelly, mini sugar donuts, soy sauce corn puffs, memune gummies, strawberry cotton candy, and the dondonyaki crackers. But don't forget that each box comes with a full-size pack of Kit Kats for you to try. The flavor we have here is chocolate orange. I personally grew up with this flavor, so I find it super nostalgic and of course delicious. If you're more into trying the traditional side of Japanese snacks, then perhaps get the Sakuraco box, which features artisan snacks. The theme for August is Journey to Okinawa, where all the delicacies are from the region and the local snack makers. Some things you would want to try are the mango jellies, Chinsuku Okinawa almond caramel cookie, ben imo pie, honey plum, Okinawa baked chocolate, and kokuto cinnamon peanuts. Additionally, the box comes with a Japanese tableware item that you can enjoy your snacks with, or keep it as a special treasure in your home to remind you of Japan. Here we have the Bloom's handpicked ceramics. If you're like me and are eating these snacks while having a late night Genshin session, then you might want to drink some of the tea that's included. This one is the Sanpin tea, which is so soothing and delicious to have alongside the other snacks. I really like the Chinsuko and Okinawa baked chocolate from Sakuraco. They have the perfect amount of sweetness and make lovely mini snacks to have in the middle of a busy day. The tokyotreat box has so many snacks and I didn't know where to start. There is practically every kind of snack here, and this has to be the biggest variety I've seen so far, so you don't want to miss out. As per usual, the boxes include a guide booklet that shows you all the snacks as well as allergy information and dietary restrictions, so you can find a snack that suits you. Don't forget to read a few of the extra pages in both books where you can catch up on Japanese snack culture and food history. So what are you waiting for? Get your goodies now with a link in the description. You can use the code AMBER for a discount when you order. Treat yourself or friends and family with a taste of Japan. Thank you tokyotreat and Sakuraco for sponsoring the video. Alright, so the first thing I recommend is organizing your week based on talent domain days. For example, Monday is when Kuching's talent book domain is open. Therefore, I'd make Monday the Kuching farming day, where I collect all the materials specifically for her. Even if you're not farming talent books specifically, you can use it as a reference for easier planning. So in this case, if I already have all the talent books I need, I would just use this day to collect her world materials, boss materials, artifacts, and basically anything else that I lack for Kuching. And the reason why I go off of talent domain days is just that you have a little reference so that you know when you're organizing your schedule which day you think will be optimal for that character. So this way your gameplay has more direction and you're not bouncing between 10 characters all at once, and it keeps you on a schedule so you can alleviate some of that chaos when it comes to farming. I've done this for quite a while now and I really recommend doing it, especially if you have a ton of characters to level up. It just helps map out your week so that you know exactly what you're going to do and how much resin you're going to put into your characters each day. Which leads to my next tip. Pick 2 to 3 key characters to work on at a time. With every update, more characters come out and it feels like there just isn't enough time to farm for all of them. But the downside is if you're constantly over farming for 5 to 6 different characters, you'll burn out really easily. So my main suggestion is to choose 2 or 3 characters to farm during the week. If I'm going off of my previous tip structure, I'd suggest choosing 3 characters that have domains on 3 different days so that you can farm for 1 character per day. The reason why I really think this is helpful is for resin management. Because you only get a certain amount of resin per day, you don't want to have the case where characters are fighting over resin, or sometimes the opposite when your resin is capped and you just don't need to farm that day. So make sure you're choosing your characters wisely. Obviously, if you progress later through the game and you have less characters to choose from that you need to build, you might not be able to stick to that talent domain schedule, but I still suggest only choosing 2-3 characters to work on at a time. My current 2-3 are Varessa, Chevreuse, and Charlotte. I'm currently leveling up their talents and also farming for their weapon materials and artifacts. If you are super stressed in Genshin, make sure to prioritize characters that will help you in whatever the content you're trying to achieve now. So if the content you're having trouble with is Imaginarium Theater, choose characters that are available for that season of Imaginarium Theater, just so that you can further progress in the game and you won't be falling behind. The same goes for Spiral Abyss and any other in-game content that you just need some help with. Here is my next tip, and this tip might seem a little small, but I have been doing this for quite a while now, and that is to pick one day of the week just for collecting world materials and sticking to it. I personally like to use Friday because I tend to have more time that evening, so on this day I just go around and collect stuff that I need for character ascensions or maybe even rare cooking items that I don't have. It's better to choose a day that you have more time to farm in so that you're not rushing, and sometimes I like to make this day a peaceful exploration day where I just go around and collect items really slowly. Also, just remember that having a day dedicated to farming these materials means that you won't have to worry about the world resets, because if you stick to the same day all the time, then you know that all the world materials have already refreshed by then if you're doing it once a week. You can do it twice a week if you are available, but if you're a little bit lazy or you're just pretty busy, one day of the week is fine. But I really found this helps so that you're not repeating the same area over and over again and realizing that the materials haven't refreshed yet. But thankfully now we have the go and collect button so that you can find all your materials you need and also the characters that you can collect them with. Okay, for our next tip, I actually feel like this tip isn't mentioned quite often, so I want to mention it to you guys. If you are a low adventure rank person, or you just are a casual gameplay person, and most importantly, if you struggle to do talent boss domains or any domains in general, but more specifically these talent bosses, I highly suggest do them on Monday. Mainly because a ton of other players also do their weekly domains on Mondays, since it is the refresh day, so it's much easier to find someone through co-op if it is a Monday, as opposed to a random day at like 4 AM. I know that there's a lot of people still playing Genshin, but it is just easier to find a match when you are farming on Mondays. But if Monday just can't be your farming day, that's okay, because if you want to find some Genshin friends or get tips with your own account, you can join the Discord community down below. I have the link there and you can find some friends to play with. They can also help you improve your account, get some build advice, and so much more. So feel free to check it out if that is what you're looking for. Okay, tip number 5. This tip is something that I swear by, and that is to do all my weekly stuff on one dedicated day. Some of those things include the parametric transformer, crystal fly trap, getting ores for the battle pass, cooking for the battle pass, and the tavern TCG challenges. These are just some to mention a few, and you don't also have to do all of them. I know that there's some people that are not really into TCG, or you don't really like to farm the battle pass and you don't buy it. I still think you should farm the battle pass even if you don't buy it, just because all the rewards are free and you can get them naturally just through gameplay. I also do these things on Monday just so that they reset with the weekly bosses and the weekly battle pass, but you can honestly pick any day. Just make sure that you've given yourself enough time to complete everything and you're not really stressed by the time it all resets. But these are little things that you should take into consideration, so make sure you have a farming day dedicated for these things too. It will help your account in the long run, especially if you're using the parametric transformer or just farming the battle pass, because over time those rewards will collect and you will improve slowly. Here's another tip that I feel like isn't mentioned a lot either, and it is also something that I've been doing more recently as opposed to what I did before, but if you're participating in the events, I recommend waiting it out until the whole event is fully unlocked, because a lot of stuff is time gated for the events, and what I used to do was do the event every single day and go back to the same spot, but now I actually just wait out until the whole event is out so I can do it all in one go. I know to some of you it might seem counterintuitive because they're locked for a reason. If you do wait until the whole event is out, you can actually breeze past through all the stages in one sitting, and I find it a lot easier than having to go back and teleport to the location each time. And if you are busy on every single day, you don't have to spend time in your daily routine specifically to complete the event, but rather you can just wait until a day that you are more free to complete all the events. The only downside to this is that the gameplay might seem repetitive and a little bit boring, but personally it's paid off because I'd rather just sit through everything all at once than do a little bit of the event each day but have to keep teleporting to the same spot, and it just seems a lot more efficient if I just do it all in one go. Usually the weekend mornings are are my go-to day for completing events, and that's just because personally I have more time and I can start the weekend feeling accomplished. Just a side note, but I think you guys all know, this doesn't work for stuff like Leyline Overflow or all the artifact bonuses because those are logged daily, but you get the idea. If the event is something that's done over time, I recommend waiting it out until it's fully out, just so that it's more efficient having to complete it all in one go. This next tip might seem controversial and not appeal to everyone, but you might want to use a planner to keep track of your Genshin progress. Now, I personally use Notion. This isn't sponsored, but Notion is free and it's fully customizable, so you can make it really cute and aesthetic, but also any tiny notebook works fine if you like doing it on paper. That's what I used to do in the really early days of Genshin, but now I like to use Notion just so I can see it on every device. I just use it to note down certain progress things that I need to do, like fixing artifacts for a character or fixing their weapon, or even some of my long-term goals like fully exploring an area or the food archive. I just feel like the marking system here for character priority in Genshin is not as good, which is why I prefer to use a planner. Once again, you might think this is excessive and that's okay, but if you do like to have a cute little aesthetic planner, you can do that too. So I'm just throwing the idea out there if that sounds appealing to you. Last but not least, the final tip that I have, and I highly recommend, is to have a Genshin cleanup day every couple of weeks. So depending on how hardcore of a player you are, the amount of times you do this may vary, but basically this day is an opportunity for you to check in with your account and do a little housekeeping and chores. Some things that I like to do on this day are clearing out excess artifacts, because I seem to always be reaching artifact capacity, and just looking through the artifacts that I can get rid of, some of my 3 stars, 4 stars, and also looking through my artifacts in case there's a good artifact that I might have missed. I also like to cook extra food for the NRE 30, and something I always seem to forget to do, which is claiming my rewards. So that can be rewards from events, like this reward I haven't claimed yet, or some achievements, or the Genshin guidebook, as well as your Genshin teapot, and anything else that needs collecting. If you're feeling extra spicy, you can also go through your backpack and look for items that you need restocking. For example, these fangs, I do need to restock on them, and I might need to craft a few more, or some of these shell shards, I also need to go and farm more of them. But just look through your backpack and find things that you're low on so that you can go and restock them and use them for a lot later. But most importantly, you should also review all your character builds. You don't have to go through every single character because I know you guys own a lot, but at least the characters that you're sort of in the middle of building. So for characters that I have solidified already, like Hu Tao and my permanent characters that I use, I don't mean you have to go look at these because these probably haven't changed, but for characters that you're still switching around weapons for, so for example, if I'm building Sucrose, I might want to go check, okay, she has this weapon, so I might want to fix that. Maybe her artifact set isn't complete, her talents aren't done. Just go through all the characters that you think you might need to work on and make sure they have all the correct stuff on them already. And the best part is, if you decide to have a planner, you can write down everything that you noticed from your little account check and put them in the planner so that you have a goal for what you're going to work on. Those can be character related or exploration related, just your Genshin goals in general, but that is why I really recommend having a planner, just so that you can look through everything. But yeah, just make sure that you're going through all the characters you have, because you might realize that a really strong character doesn't have their full artifact set, or maybe they're borrowing a weapon from a different character. Anything like that, just make sure you do your checks, and obviously choose a day where you have a lot of time. If you are one of the many students here watching my videos, you might want to do these things during one of your school breaks or long weekends. Just note that looking through all of these character things and doing this might take a little longer than your other daily tasks, so put aside the right amount of time to do it so that you're not rushing. What I like to do is just have a video playing in the background, listen to music while I'm looking through my account, and I really like to make this a chill farming day just so I can have a little bit of fun, and it's pretty cozy if you have a snack too. And that is it. These are the habits and tips that really help me feel less stressed about Genshin farming, and I highly recommend you implement them to your own Genshin routine as well. If you're someone who gets easily overwhelmed and just burnt out, or if you don't know where to start, I really hope this guide gave you some direction. Again, you don't have to do everything in the video, but hopefully at least one of the tips did help. Let me know in the comments who you are building currently in Genshin, or if you have any other things to share or questions to ask. I'm always more than happy to read what you have to say, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in our next video, which will definitely be soon. So in that case, have a wonderful day, good luck on your pulls, and I will see you all in our next video. Bye!